What if the person you trusted most destroyed your face, stole your identity, and erased your life? This is Glass Mask, a brutal K-drama where betrayal cuts deeper than love and revenge hides behind beauty. Welcome to International Movie Recap. For more interesting recaps, don't forget to subscribe. Stay with me because this story only gets darker. Let's dive into it.
This girl's name is So-Yan. In order to win the school's drawing contest, she tried to set fire to other students' paintings. Nervously, she lit a match and set fire to the paintings on the table. The fire spread quickly. So-Yan panicked and fled the classroom. The teacher caught her in the act, but the teacher didn't get a good look at the girl. While she was puzzled, the classroom burst into flames. The teacher rushed to get someone to put out the fire. So-Yan's sister, Ri-Jing, also came to the classroom. After seeing the fire in the classroom, she remembered how her younger sister ran out of the building in a panic. She immediately figured out that it was younger sister's doing. Finally, she found the frightened and crying younger sister in a deserted warehouse. Ri-Jing quietly went up to her and tried to comfort her. But So-Yan not only didn't appreciate it, she blamed her sister instead. She was jealous of her sister's award and her mom's praise. Ri-Jing didn't get angry but blamed herself for not taking care of her younger sister's feelings and apologized to her. When So-Yan heard her sister's apology, she expressed her frustration even more. It turns out that the two of them are always being compared. Ri-Jing is well-behaved and loved by her mother, but So-Yan, in her mother's eyes, is a child who only gets into trouble. So-Yan became more and more jealous of her sister. Just now, the class held a drawing competition. So-Yan and Ri-Jing sat together and drew, but the teacher only praised Ri-Jing's drawing. This made So-Yan very angry, so she angrily tore up the work she was about to finish. She had to paint a better picture than her sister, but there wasn't much time left. As expected, So-Yan didn't finish her work until the end. She looked at her teacher holding a shiny trophy in her hand. She felt aggrieved and unhappy, so she ran to a corner and cried in secret. At that moment, she happened to see someone burning something. An evil thought came into her mind. She thought that if she burned all the others' paintings, she could start the competition all over again. Then she would win the first place. But after she burned the paintings, So-Yan started to be found out that she did it. Ri-Jing felt very sorry for her and told her that only the two of them knew about the fire, so she didn't have to worry. Looking at So-Yan's hair, she took off her own headband and tied up her hair, then dragged her home. What they didn't expect was for the teacher to show up at their house. She took out the headband she found at the scene. She asked them whose headband it was. Ri-Jing, who couldn't bear to see her younger sister punished, took the blame for setting the fire on herself. Since they were raised as twins, their clothes and hairstyles were the same. Ri-Jing also gave So-Yan the headband, so no one suspected So-Yan. Their father, In-chul, was furious and gave Ri-Jing a hard time. But even though Ri-Jing did that, So-Yan still didn't appreciate it. She even sneered at her sister and thought she was pretending to be kind. The next day, Mom Haisun's attitude towards Ri-Jing suddenly changes. She found out that Ri-Jing is the child of her husband's murderer. It turns out that Haisun and In-chul are a reorganized family. They each have a daughter. Haisun has always cared for In-chul's daughter, even better than her own daughter. But one day, when she was helping In-chul deliver his wallet while he was out drinking, she accidentally overheard a conversation between In-chul and a friend. Haisun found out that Ri-Jing is the child of her husband's adopted ex-husband's murderer. Then she walked home in a daze, thinking back to the happy times with her ex-husband, but everything was ruined by the murderer. Haisun leaned against the wall, reassuring herself that she must have heard wrong. But when she came home and looked up Ri-Jing's adoption record, her only hope was gone. She went crazy and asked her husband how he could adopt her husband's murderer's child. In-chul, seeing that the whole thing was going down, apologized to his wife and explained that the child is innocent. But Haisun wouldn't listen and even fainted on the spot because she couldn't take the shock. After that, Haisun's attitude towards Ri-Jing changed completely. At the dinner table, his younger brother put his hand in the hot soup and got burned accidentally. Haisun is directly cursing at Ri-Jing. Ri-Jing could only run to the rooftop and cry silently. She sat there from day to night until her father, In-chul, came back. In-chul rushed forward and led his daughter into the house. Ri-Jing, who knows what's good for her, was first concerned about her brother's burns, but she didn't realize that Haisun was even more upset and accused her of pretending. In-chul couldn't stand it anymore. After sending his daughter away, he asked his wife why she was treating her daughter like that. Haisun said he knew what was going on and went back to her room. In-chul sighed deeply as he knew he was in the wrong. In order to regain her mother's approval, Ri-Jing tried to do his best in everything. Haisun smashed the trophy that Ri-Jing got back. Even though she volunteered to do the housework, Haisun still criticized everything. Even So-Yan, who has always hated her sister, couldn't stand it and tried to fight for her, but she got a scolding from her mom. So-Yan was so angry that she ran away from home. Ri-Jing stopped her younger sister and told her to go home, but So-Yan didn't listen. She thought her mother wasn't their mother. Otherwise, how could she beat them? Then she turned around and ran away in anger. Ri-jing was worried that her younger sister might be in danger, so she followed her. At night, Hai-soon realized that her daughters hadn't come home, but she was only worried about So-yan's safety. She even blamed Ri-jing for everything. Just when she was worried, her husband's criminal police colleague called to tell her that her daughters were at the police station. Hai-soon rushed there immediately, but So-yan was still angry and insisted on going to her biological mother and refused to go home with Hai-soon. Hai-soon's face became very gloomy, and she heard this, but she looked at Ri-jing. She said that if that was her wish, then she would send her away right now. Then she walked out of the police station without looking back. Ri-jing and So-yan followed their mother in fear. At that moment, Hai-soon suddenly stopped. She ordered Ri-jing not to follow her anymore. Then she took So-yan and left. Ri-jing stood in the same place and looked at her mother and her younger sister in the distance. So-yan, who was dragged away, kept looking back. She couldn't help but ask her mom why she didn't bring her sister along, but Hai-soon told her that Ri-jing is not related to her. So-yan realized everything when her mom told her, so she didn't plead for her sister anymore and followed her mom home. Ri-jing is standing on the busy street looking very lonely and helpless. At this time, the sky was raining heavily. Ri-jing didn't understand what she had done wrong. Why did her mother leave her? When In-chul found out that his wife had abandoned Ri-jing, In-chul can't help but scold his wife. But Hai-soon didn't think she was wrong. Hai-soon doesn't want to live with Ri-jing. But what Hai-soon didn't realize was that So-yan suddenly got acute nephritis and had to have a kidney transplant immediately. And the donor can only be a child of the same age. When Hai-soon heard this, she thought of Ri-jing, so she called her husband. She told him about So-yan's need for a kidney transplant. In-chul didn't dare to delay and went to the hospital with the newly found Ri-jing. Hai-soon saw Ri-jing and begged her to save her younger sister. The kind-hearted Ri-jing finally agreed to donate a kidney for her younger sister. The matching result showed that Ri-jing was qualified to donate. Hai-soon was overjoyed. Doctors and nurses praised Ri-jing for her bravery. Her adoptive father was also pleased with Ri-jing's behavior. Ri-jing thought that by doing this, she would be able to make up with her mom, but she didn't realize that Hai-soon thought it was her duty to do so. Although Hai-soon reluctantly agreed to let Ri-jing go home, but she only allowed her to live in the small attic. She even reminded the girl that her body no longer belonged to her, so she must take good care of her body and be ready to give her kidney to her younger sister. Not only did the foster mom treat Ri-jing like this, even So-yan, who was sick, didn't appreciate it. She thinks she's the one who's sick, but everyone seems to be worried about her sister. This made her feel very unbalanced. So when Ri-jing came to take care of her, So-yan blamed her sister with disdain. She yelled at her sister to get out, but because she moved too much, she accidentally pulled out the needle. The blood started to flow. So-yan looked at the blood on the back of her hand and sat on the floor, screaming. Mom heard the noise and rushed into the room to ask what happened. So-yan accused her sister of doing it. When Hai-soon found out, she slapped Ri-jing hard and asked her what she did to So-yan. Ri-jing looks at her mother, who used to love her, with disbelief, but Hai-soon looked at Ri-jing with disgust. In-chul took her daughter away in time. Ri-jing didn't want her father to worry. She smiled and told her father that she was fine. Mom must be upset because her younger sister is sick. Ri-young's understanding is heartbreaking, but at that moment, Hai-soon came out of the hospital room and scolded Ri-jing. In-chul couldn't stand it anymore and took his wife's hand and went outside the hospital. He blamed his wife for not treating his two daughters differently. Although Ri-young is a foster child, after all, she has called her mom for 8 years. Unbeknownst to her, Ri-jing overheard these words. She didn't realize that she wasn't born to her parents. It was hard for her to accept. She went back to her younger sister's room and curled up in a chair and cried silently all night. The next day, the doctor brought good news. The younger sister's kidney infection had miraculously recovered. Everyone was happy. Only Ri-jing walked out of the hospital room without realizing that she had tears in her eyes. She was afraid that she would be kicked out of the house if she was not needed. When Ri-jing heard her father's voice, she quickly wiped away the tears. In-chul realizes his daughter's feelings and is determined to take her home. When Ri-jing returned home, she congratulated her younger sister on her recovery, but So-yan thought that her sister didn't want her to recover, because she already knows that the only reason why her sister is still in the family is because she wants to have her kidney transplanted to her, but now she doesn't need it anymore. Then there's no need for her to stay. Even though her sister's words were very unpleasant, Ri-jing really didn't want to leave the family. That day, the two sisters were getting ready to go to school. So-yan deliberately pointed at her sister and said she wanted the clothes she was wearing. So the mother ordered Ri-jing to take off her clothes and give them to her younger sister. The girl didn't dare to disobey, so she took off her clothes. The younger sister was satisfied with her clothes, but with a hint of disdain on her face. The two of them went to school. So-yan treated Ri-jing like a stranger. Since she realized that her sister was adopted, she began to look down on her. But Ri-jing is better than her in everything. This time, Ri-jing's courage in donating a kidney to save her was recognized by the school as an outstanding child. This made the younger sister very unhappy. So after class, She found her sister and criticized her. Ri-jing looked at her younger sister but didn't dare to refute. The classmates on the other side couldn't stand it and came to Ri-jing's defense. This caused So-yan to hate her sister even more. Then she went back to the classroom in a rage. She saw the expensive colored pencils of her sister's deskmate. So-yan had an evil thought in her heart. After class, Ri-jing's classmate went to the teacher and cried that his colored pencils were missing. Then the teacher found the missing colored pencils in Ri-jing's backpack. Facing the teacher's questioning, Ri-jing didn't know how to explain. So-yan smiled triumphantly. Ri-jing was finally punished for being a thief and was made to kneel in front of the classroom. Suddenly, she remembered that her younger sister had left during the extracurricular activities. She realized that it's your sister's doing. But So-yan was still upset and came over to taunt Ri-jing, saying that adopted kids should be punished. Then Hae-soon came out from the office. She denounced Ri-jing's behavior as a disgrace. Then she left with So-yan. Ri-jing shed tears silently and didn't explain herself. She knew her mom wouldn't believe her if she did. Ri-jing waited until her foster father got the news and came to the school. He carried the exhausted Ri-jing home. She thought it would be over, but as soon as Ri-jing got home, she saw her foster mom packing her bags. She was so scared that she begged her foster mom not to abandon her. Ri-jing humbly promised her younger sister that she would do whatever she wanted, but the mother and daughter still insisted on kicking her out. Finally, her foster father pleaded for Ri-jing and let her stay. 10 years have passed since then. Ri-jing has grown up. To others, she seems to live in a rich family. But in reality, she has to work several odd jobs every day to support herself. She delivers newspapers in the morning. The rest of the day, she has to work at a convenience store. But even with her thoughtfulness, she didn't get any mercy from her foster mom. She'd kick her out of the house if she wasn't careful. Whenever she has nowhere else to go, she has to go to the convenience store where she works. The owner of the convenience store felt sorry for Ri-jing when he saw that she was always being kicked out of her home. When he found out, he realized that Ri-jing was working so hard because she had to earn money for school. So he introduced her to a part-time job as a tutor. But the tutor must be a college student, and Ri-jing is only a high school student, so she was very hesitant. But when she heard that the salary was 10 times more than working in a convenience store, she agreed. She wanted to look like a college student, so she sneaked home to find a more mature dress to wear. But there were only a few clothes that she couldn't afford. Just when Ri-jing was at a loss, her brother suggested that she could borrow So-yan's clothes. Then he dragged her to So-yan's room. Ri-jing looked at her younger sister's closet full of beautiful clothes and envied her. The brother just took a dress from the closet and handed it to her. The girl didn't think it was a good idea, but for the sake of her job, she had to leave a note and change her clothes to apply for the job. But what she didn't expect was that So-yan would find out. She was so angry that she threw all her clothes on the floor. Then she went to her mom and cried. Her mom was so distressed and promised to calm So-yan down and promised that when Ri-jing came back, she would not let her off the hook. Only then did So-yan calm down. Ri-jing came home and was taught a lesson. Although she was very sad, she finally chose to hold back. So the next day, Ri-jing washed the clothes and tried to return them to So-yan. But her mom threw the clothes into the garbage. She said her clothes were too dirty. After that, Ri-jing became more cautious in this house. Today is Ri-jing's first day as a part-time tutor. She's tutoring Ho-jun, the second-generation rich kid from a plutocratic family. But she didn't realize that on her first day work, she mistook Ho-jun for a thief. She picked up a book and threw it, but she fell down because of the force. Facing Ho-chan's ridicule, Ri-jing was furious and got up again. She looked like she was going to arrest Ho-jun. Ho-jun tried to explain to her that he's not a thief, but Ri-jing didn't listen because she immediately recognized Ho-jun as the man she had already caught once during the day. Ri-jing was delivering newspapers as usual, but suddenly she saw Ho-jun climbing the wall. She immediately recognized him as a thief, so she immediately picked up a newspaper and threw it at Ho-jun. Ho-jun was hit by the newspaper and fell off the wall, but she didn't expect it to hit Ri-jing's body. Her first kiss was lost. Ri-jing stood up and beat up Ho-jun and sent him to the police father. So when she saw Ho-jun climb in through the window again, she thought he was stealing again. So she immediately ran out to call for help and swung a golf club at Ho-jun. Ho-jun dodged it just in time. The club hit an expensive guitar. At that moment, the nanny heard the sound and came in. After seeing this scene, she was shocked and asked Ri-jing why he treated the young master like that. Ri-jing froze in her tracks when she heard this. She never thought that Ho-jun is not a thief but the young master of the house. Ri-jing looked at Ho-chun's angry face and ran away. After this, Ri-jing immediately quit her well-paid part-time job. Unbeknownst to her, Ho-jun was already interested in her and didn't want her to leave. So he came to the convenience store where Ri-young worked and found her. He asked her to pay 5 million won for the guitar she damaged. but Ryung didn't have any money. Ho-jun offered to let her continue to work as a tutor at his house. She'd pay him back slowly with her tutoring fees. Ri-jing agreed to Ho-chun's request, but how to dress up as a college student was a problem. The last time she borrowed a younger sister's clothes, she was beaten up, so Ryung didn't dare to touch her sister's things again. So she had the idea to find some rags that were not wanted at home and made a dress for herself. The next day, Ho-jun was still thinking about how to teach Ri-jing a lesson, but when he saw Ri-jing wearing a unique design and her beautiful face, Ho-jun was instantly impressed, so much so that he stared at Ri-jing throughout the hour-long tutoring session. He even followed Ryung secretly just to see her one more time. Even if he was found out, he still had the cheek not to leave. At that moment, Ryung told Ho-jun that she was delivering a change of clothes to her father, who was on duty. She told Ho-jun not to disturb her. Ho-jun couldn't help but think that her father was really something, but she didn't realize that her father's words were overheard by the criminal he was trying to arrest. At that moment, a police officer spotted the criminal. The culprit had no choice but to take Ho-jun hostage. At that moment, Ryung's father, In-chul, arrived just in time. After calming his frightened daughter, he grabbed the criminal's knife and saved Ho-jun, but he was unfortunately stabbed several times during the fight. He was hospitalized. This made Ryung's mother hate her even more. Luckily, In-chul's life is not in danger. When he woke up, he saw Ri-jing standing in the corner and guessed that she was blaming herself, so he immediately called her to his side and said she had nothing to do with it. It's his duty as a police officer to catch criminals. The injury was just an accident, but Hai-sun was still angry and kicked Ri-jing to the corner. At that moment, So-yan brought out a gift for his father. Today is In-chul's birthday. Ryung also took out her birthday gift from her bag, but when she realized that the gift from her younger sister was a razor, she stuffed her gift back into the bag, but her father found out. Ri-jing had to take out the gift. It turned out that her gift was also a razor. At night, Ri-jing volunteered to stay and take care of her father, but she was ridiculed by her younger sister. She accused her of being a foster daughter. Her mother also accused Ri-jing of being a bad person. Ri-jing was humiliated. This scene was seen by Ho-jun, who came to express his gratitude. He sympathized with Ri-jing. He came to the hospital the next day to express his gratitude, but his presence made So-yan very excited, because Ho-jun is the one she has a crush on. When she saw Ho-jun being dragged away by her sister, she didn't know why, so she chased after him. The way the two of them were acting close to each other irritated her deeply. After Ho-jun left, So-yan found her sister and asked her how she and Ho-jun met. Ri-jing didn't dare to hide anything and told her everything that happened before, and begged her younger sister to keep her secret. I didn't expect So-yan to agree, but she had one condition, that when Ri-jing went to teach Ho-jun again, she should bring her along. Ri-jing didn't dare to refuse and immediately agreed to the younger sister's request. Then So-yan went home and dressed up. Then she followed her sister to Ho-chun's house with a big smile on her face. So-yan looked at the magnificent villa and didn't realize that Ho-jun was actually a second-generation rich man. This strengthened her determination to marry Ho-jun. Then she called her mom and asked her to send her sister away in order to be alone with Ho-jun. When Ri-jing received the call from her mom, she didn't dare to delay and explain to Ho-jun and left in a hurry. So-yan was happy, but Ho-jun looked very embarrassed. Ho-jun took out 2 tickets of his concert and gave them to So-yan to ease the awkwardness, and asked her to bring Ri-jing along, because he prepared a special surprise. So-yan thought Ho-jun was going to confess his love to her, so she couldn't wait to buy new clothes to look her best for the concert. On the day of the concert, So-yan brought her sister to the concert as promised. Maybe she was in a good mood because she was about to be confessed to by her favorite person. After the concert, it was exactly what she expected. Ho-jun did confess, but just when she was excited to accept Ho-chun's confession, Ho-jun confessed his love for Ri-jing. So-yan felt ashamed and ran away from the scene. Ri-jing chased after her and tried to comfort her, but So-yan didn't appreciate it at all. She thought that her sister was trying to embarrass her on purpose. Before Ri-jing could explain, So-yan ran away. When she got home, she went to her sister's room to vent her anger, but then 2 photos on the floor caught her attention. She picked them up and realized they were her mother's wedding photos, but the groom was 2 different men. Then she recalled her mother's strange words and behavior yesterday. A terrible thought came to her mind, that she might not be In-chul's real daughter. She immediately rushed to her mother with the photo and asked who the man in the photo was. Hai-sun was speechless in the face of her daughter's questioning. So-yan decided to go to the hospital to ask her father, who was injured and hospitalized. The rain poured down on her, but she didn't care. She just wanted to know the answer as soon as possible. When she arrived at her father's room, she took out the photo and asked him what happened. When she saw that her father had nothing to say, she already knew the answer. The shock was so great that she fainted on the spot. When she woke up, she didn't know how to face her father, so she went outside alone. Ri-jing, who already knew everything, tried to comfort her, but So-yan thought her sister had come to laugh at her, so she got up and went back to her father's room. The father had no choice but to tell the truth. Then he asked his wife to take her to see her real father. So-yeon learned that her real father died in the line of duty while arresting criminals, so she wasn't abandoned by her father, but the daughter of a hero. It's like her sense of superiority has returned. At that moment, her father's best friend came to pay his respects. The three of them went to a cafe to talk. The man told them that it had been 20 years since the incident, but the culprit has not yet been sentenced to death. This is a knot in his heart. That's why he came back to protest with all the victims' families. Mother and daughter immediately agreed to join, so they went home and prepared a petition. Ri-jing came back and asked what they were doing. So-yeon proudly told her everything. Ri-jing immediately offered to help. So-yeon wanted to refuse, but her mom agreed. Hae-soon went back to her room and smiled with a deeper meaning. It turns out that the criminal Ji-tae is Ri-jing's real father. She wanted Ji-tae to die at the hands of his own daughter, so she asked Ri-jing to collect signatures on the street with a petition for Ji-tae's death sentence. Without knowing it, Ri-jing was still trying very hard to get signatures from passers-by. She never realized that Ji-tae is her real father. At that moment, In-chul, who had just been discharged from the hospital, also came here. When she saw the petition in Ri-young's hand, she panicked. When he found out that his wife had asked Ri-jing to do this, he went to find her in a rage. He dragged her to a deserted place and asked her why she did it. But Hae-soon didn't think she was wrong at all. She even said that Ri-young asked for help. But their conversation was overheard by Ri-jing and younger sister. When they found out the truth, both of them couldn't accept it. So-yeon finally realized why her mother hated her sister so much. At night, she asked her parents how she could live with the child of her father's murderer. Then she slammed the family photo on the floor. Then she ran out the door. But when she got to the door, she saw her sister and Ho-jun together. The way they were acting close to each other irritated her again. After Ho-jun left, she went straight to her sister and slapped her hard and threatened that she would never let her go. Then she called a reporter and exposed her sister as the murderer's daughter. The next day, a large number of reporters flocked to the scene, but it also revealed her home address. One of the victim's family members followed the address and tried to kidnap Ri-young as a hostage to force the court to sentence Ji-tae to death. But the man mistook So-yeon for Ri-jing and knocked her out. When So-yeon woke up, she found herself tied to a chair on a rooftop. At that moment, an unfamiliar man approached her. So-yeon immediately guessed from the man's words that he had mistaken her for someone else, even though she tried her best to deny it. But the man didn't believe her. Then he sealed her mouth with a cloth. When the police came, he dragged So-yeon to the edge of the rooftop and shouted frantically for Ji-tae to be sentenced to death, or he'll kill her daughter. Hae-soon, who had received the news, was heartbroken at the sight of her daughter being held hostage. She hysterically asked her husband to get Ri-jing over here. Ri-jing ran to the scene in a panic when she found out that her younger sister had been kidnapped. As soon as she arrived, she was grabbed and pushed by her foster mom. She yells at the man on the rooftop that this is Ji-tae's daughter. Then she urged Ri-jing to go up and replace her younger sister. The adoptive father stopped Ri-jing in time and saved So-yeon. The rescued youngster sister was so scared that she didn't know what to do, but she still looked at her sister with hatred in her eyes. The foster mom even pushed Ri-jing to the ground. Then she carefully accompanied her daughter to the hospital. Ri-jing was heartbroken. She knew there was no place for her in this family, so she went home and left a farewell letter. Then she got on a bus and left the city. She was gone for 8 years. For 8 years, she lived in a small tailor's store. She ate instant noodles every day to survive. Her mother and youngest sister are very happy without her in the family. So-yeon was able to work at Ho-chun's company, but she's always in trouble at work due to her lack of ability. This time, she accidentally burned the seamstress's hand during the company's new product launch. The head of the company wanted to fire her. Luckily, Ho-jun came to her rescue in time. He said that she needs to find a replacement seamstress who knows how to cross-sew. When So-yeon heard that, in order to make up for her mistake, she promised to find him. Then she went straight to Dongdaemun clothing market to look for him. She didn't expect to find someone with cross-sewing skills. But what she didn't realize was that the person she was looking for was her sister, Ri-jing. 8 years ago, Ri-jing ran away from home and had nowhere to go. Luckily, an old man from a tailor's store kindly took her in. He taught her his ancestral sewing skills. So now she has grown up to be a highly skilled seamstress. Ri-jing was surprised to see the younger sister and thought she came to visit her. But So-yeon denied it and told her to get lost. Then she left. So-yeon went back to the office and lied that she didn't find the person she was looking for. But what she didn't expect was that Ho-jun went to Dongdaemun after her and found Ri-jing as well. Then Ho-jun brought Ri-jing back to the office. So-yeon was furious. She called her sister outside and threatened her not to come to work. But her sister, who had always obeyed her, refused her this time because she desperately needed money to pay off the loan sharks for her uncle who took her in. But how could So-yeon let her have her way? So she secretly switched the products that her sister showed at the launch event to make her embarrassed and kicked out of the company. Sure enough, on the day of the press conference, the lingerie was supposed to be strong, but it cracked with a slight tug. Everyone was shocked by the sudden change. Only So-yeon showed a smile of success. At this moment, Ri-jing was so smart that he ran up to the stage and showed his excellent sewing skills to make the underwear perfect again. That's how she saved her life. Because of her action, the number of orders for lingerie increased dramatically. So-yeon was furious. She didn't even go to the celebration party and ran back home. Her mom, who saw the live telecast of the event, immediately asked her why Ri-jing appeared again. So-yeon told her everything. After learning that Ri-jing and So-yeon have joined the same company, she couldn't help but worrying. She was afraid that her husband, who had never given up looking for her daughter, would find her. So-yeon told Mon not to worry. She has a way to make her sister disappear completely. That day, Ho-jun asked them both to dinner. So-yeon wanted to get away from her sister and be alone with Ho-jun. She poured a cup of hot water directly on her sister, but Ho-jun saw through this scene. Even though So-yeon denied it, Ho-jun insisted that she must have done it on purpose. When So-yeon saw Ho-jun defending her sister so well, she became jealous. She said she really didn't do it on purpose. She also explained that her hands have been shaking unconsciously since she was kidnapped. Ho-jun asked her why she was kidnapped. So-yeon told her that Ri-young is not her real sister. She also mentioned her biological father, but she stopped in the middle of her sentence. Instead, she texted her sister to warn her to leave if she didn't want Ho-jun to know she was a murderer's daughter. Ri-jing had to go to the restroom and ran away in a panic. So-yeon was so proud of himself for accomplishing his goal. However, when Ho-jun found out that Ri-jing suddenly left, he also said that he was going to leave. So-yeon was furious. The next day, So-yeon realized that Ho-jun didn't go to work. After asking her secretary, she found out that Ho-jun took a leave of absence to convince Ri-jing to come back to the company, because Ri-jing is the only skilled seamstress in Korea. This infuriated So-yeon. She immediately went to the tailor's store and found her sister. She threatened her again with the secret of her life and forbade her to work at the company, and told her to leave immediately. But Ho-jun overheard her. So-yeon was so scared that she quickly explained that she was here to persuade her sister to go back to work. Ho-jun obviously didn't believe her. She asked Ri-jing if she was what her younger sister said she was. Although Ri-jing was very aggrieved, but she was afraid that her younger sister would expose her life, so she didn't expose her younger sister's lies. Instead, she took all the blame on herself with tears in her eyes. Then Ho-jun insisted that Ri-jing go back to work. Ri-jing had no choice but to agree. But as soon as she got back to the office, she saw that her story about dropping out of high school and running away from home was posted on the internet. She was even rumored to be living with a 60-year-old man. Everyone in the company thought that she must have done something shameful to be able to work in a big company. Wherever she went, she was pointed at. Even when she eats, she gets tripped up. Ri-jing immediately figured out that it was the younger sister's doing again, so she decided to leave this place again. She went to a place where no one could find her. Before leaving, she went to say goodbye to her younger sister, but the younger sister taunted her and left. That's when the accident happened. A billboard above So-yeon's head suddenly fell from the sky. At that moment, Ri-jing pushed her away from younger sister, but she was knocked to the ground by the billboard. But So-yeon didn't appreciate it at all. Instead, he blamed his sister for causing him trouble. Now he has to stay in the hospital to take care of her. When Hae-soon got a call from the police and found out that Ri-young was in the hospital, her first reaction was not to be happy or worry. She ran to the hospital and warned Ri-jing to stay away. Ri-jing was heartbroken but agreed. At that moment, Hae-soon was furious when she saw her daughter serving Ri-jing. She yelled at Ri-jing. Then she took her daughter and left. Outside the hospital room, she also told So-yeon not to let her father know that Ri-jing was there again. But what Hae-soon didn't realize was that her husband also received a call from the police informing him that his daughter had been found. So he rushed to the hospital. When he arrived at the hospital, he couldn't help but choke up at the sight of his daughter, who he hadn't heard from for so many years. Finally, father and daughter embraced each other and cried. So-yeon saw this scene at the door. She knew her father would bring her home after finding her sister, so she went home and found her mom to discuss what to do. Mom reassured her not to worry. She would never let Ri-jing step into her house. But So-yeon was still uneasy. When she went back to her room, she racked her brain to find a way to get rid of Ri-jing. So at night, she went to the hospital and found the weak Ri-jing. She ordered her in a Lovos to change her clothes and go out with her. When they arrived at the corridor, So-yeon threw a bag of luggage at her sister and told her to get lost. But Ri-jing couldn't bear to let her father suffer again because she left without saying goodbye. So she begged So-yeon to let her convince him to leave. But So-yeon refused. He didn't care about his sister's unhealed body and dragged her by the hand to go out. At that moment, his father suddenly appeared. He came forward and slapped So-yeon hard. At that moment, Mom came to see this scene. She angrily went up to her husband and asked him if he was crazy. She looked at Ri-jing and thought So-yeon was beaten because of her, so she raised her hand and slapped Ri-jing too, and told her to get lost. Dad couldn't stand it anymore and argued with his wife for the first time. Ri-jing blamed herself and felt that she would only have a fight if she stayed, so she decided to leave again to live in a city far away. Just when So-yeon thought their relationship was over, what she never expected was that Ho-jun didn't give up looking for Ri-jing and soon found Ri-jing in a remote village. So-yeon was furious when she found out they were together. She followed Ho-chun's secretary and found her sister. sister. Then she forced her into a car while Ho-jun was out. Then she tried to drive her farther away, but before she could get away, Ho-chun's bodyguards caught up with her. So-yen didn't want to give up just like that, so she bribed Ho-chun's bodyguard to kidnap Ri-jing again at night. She planned to send her abroad secretly. It's time. The next day, she pretended to be in a panic and told Ho-jun that Ri-jing had disappeared. When Ho-jun heard that, he thought that Ri-jing had left without saying goodbye again. He immediately sent more men to look for her, but after his subordinates investigated, the news came back that Ri-jing had been kidnapped. Ho-jun was so worried that he called So-yen to ask her to seek her father's help. So-yen's face suddenly changed. She refused because she didn't want to worry her father. Ho-jun anxiously called her father herself. In-chul went to the police station as soon as he found out his eldest daughter had been kidnapped, but when he arrived downstairs, he heard So-yen on the phone. From her conversation, In-chul was in disbelief when he realized that So-yen was behind Ri-jing's kidnapping. So-yen was shocked to see her father after the call. She tried to defend herself against her father's questioning. At that moment, Ri-jing finally escaped from the shackles by her own efforts, but due to the slippery road, in the dark, she accidentally rolled down a hill and fainted. Ho-jun drove by and took her to the hospital. When In-chul received the news, he also rushed there at once. He looked at the pale Ri-jing and felt very sad, but more than that, he was disappointed in So-yen. He called So-yen outside. He ordered her to apologize to Ri-jing, but So-yen refused to do so. She would rather kneel on the ground and beg her father that she agreed to let her sister go home and even treat her well in the future. But she couldn't apologize to her sister. She even threatened to die. In-chul finally relented. He told her not to forget the promise she made. After Ri-jing was discharged from the hospital, So-yen immediately brought her home. He even prepared dinner for her. He looks like he's made up with his sister. But just when the family was about to enjoy the dinner, Hai-soon tipped over the food and she threatened to never accept her again. Ri-yeon was so sad that she had to clean up the mess on the table silently, but her adoptive mother's hard time had just begun. She protested to her husband by going on hunger strike. She even deliberately brought Ri-jing to the families of the victims of her father's death. Because 8 years ago, a reporter revealed that Ri-jing was Ji-tae's biological daughter, so the victim's family recognized her right away. A woman angrily ran up to her and grabbed Ri-jing and yelled at her. Then she pushed her to the ground. Other victims' family members also threw rotten vegetable leaves at her. Ri-jing looked at her foster mom for help, but the foster mom did nothing and even felt very angry. Luckily, In-chul came in time and helped Ri-jing out. But when Ri-jing returned home, her foster mom continued to scold her for not coming back. She was about to kick her out again. At this point, In-chul finally broke out. She called her wife into her room and accused her of being a vicious person. But Hai-soon thinks it's all Ri-yeon's fault. In-chul felt a deep sense of powerlessness at his wife's irrationality. He immediately warned his wife that if she wouldn't accept Ri-jing, he would divorce her. His wife was stunned. Although she had forced her husband to choose between the two when Ri-jing first came back, but she didn't think he would really dare to divorce her. She looked at her husband's serious face and knew he was serious this time. Hai-soon finally panicked and Ri-jing stayed. But behind her back, she was secretly discussing with So-yen. Hai-soon finally decided to find someone to marry Ri-jing off. So-yen agreed with her. She thinks that this will not only drive Ri-jing out of the house. She thought that this would not only drive Ri-jing out of the house, but also make Ho-jun, who loves Ri-jing, lose his heart completely. So when Ri-jing went on a blind date arranged by her mother, So-yen immediately told Ho-jun about it. As expected, Ho-jun was furious when he heard about it. He went to the address So-yen gave him. He grabbed Ri-jing's arm and asked her why she betrayed him. At this moment, Ho-jun couldn't control his love for Ri-jing anymore and suddenly kissed her. But So-yen saw this scene. She couldn't hide her hatred and swore that she would make Ri-jing's life worse than death. So she lured Ho-jun to the hotel on the pretext of helping him meet Ri-jing. She secretly spiked Ho-chun's glass of wine with LSD. Without knowing it, Ho-jun drank it all. Soon the drug took effect. Ho-jun fell asleep on the sofa. The next day, Ho-jun woke up to find the two of them lying on the same bed. This made him very upset. But when he got back to the office, he saw that the photo of him and So-yen in a hotel was published in the newspaper. So-yen had arranged for a reporter to take the photos to force Ho-jun to marry her. Soon the story of her and Ho-jun spread throughout the company. So-yen became the daughter-in-law of a rich family. This satisfied her vanity. Then Ho-jun came out and heard their conversation. He immediately went up and clarified that they had nothing to do with each other. He then approached the chairman's mom and said he wanted to publish a newspaper article explaining that his fiancée is Ri-jing, but she refused. The reason was that if he did that, people would think that he had a bad lifestyle and it would affect his ability to succeed the company. So mom decided to set him up with So-yen to turn the rumor into reality. She then took So-yen to a cafe and told him she wanted them to get married. So-yen was ecstatic. She couldn't wait to go home and tell her mom about it. Hai-soon was so excited to know that her daughter was getting married to a rich man. She forgot that Ri-jing is Ho-chun's fiancé. They even arranged a meeting with both parents without Ri-jing's knowledge. But they didn't realize that Ho-jun, who was also unaware of this, brought Ri-jing with him. They were shocked to see both parents present. Ri-jing tried to greet her family, but her adoptive mom pretended she didn't know her. Ri-jing was heartbroken and ran away in a panic. When Ho-jun saw this, he ran after her. In the end, both parties broke up. So-yeon went home in a rage. She realized that she could never have Ho-jun. So in order to break them up, she spread the news that the murderer's daughter, Ri-jing, was working at their company. Soon the families of the victims came to the company to protest. One of them quickly recognized Ri-jing in the crowd. Ri-jing was then severely pushed down and spat on. She tried to ask Ho-jun for help, but Ho-jun turned a blind eye. Because he couldn't accept that the woman he loved was the daughter of a murderer, Ri-jing became disappointed in Ho-jun. She decided to leave this place, so she formally broke up with Ho-jun, but she didn't realize that this action directly angered Ho-jun. Then he forced himself to announce his marriage to Ri-young at his company's party, but Ri-jing made up her mind and pushed Ho-jun away and ran away. Ho-jun quickly got up and chased after Ri-jing. At that moment, a strange woman dragged Ri-jing to the storage room and locked the door. Just when they thought it was safe, Ho-jun came in through the other door. He was accompanied by So-yeon. At this point, Ho-jun had completely lost his mind. The woman looked at Ho-chun's face and instantly remembered her husband who raped her. Then she broke a bottle of wine in fear and threatened Ho-jun not to come over. While they were arguing, Ho-jun accidentally killed the woman. The sudden scene scared them. Ri-jing wanted to call the police, but So-yeon grabbed her cell phone and slammed it on the ground. No matter what, she couldn't let her sister call the police. So-yeon asked Ho-jun to take Ri-jing away first. She stayed behind to take care of the scene. After they left, So-yeon forced herself to calm down. She erased the fingerprints from the scene but left her sister's cell phone on purpose. Then she went to find Ho-chun's mother. She told her about Ho-chun's murder and her plan. First, she asked Ho-chun's mother to erase the surveillance records. Then she went back to the scene as if she was just passing by. She screamed to attract the security guard. The security guard called the police and rushed the victim to the hospital. The police also arrived at the scene. They found Ri-jing's cell phone at the scene. So-yeon was interviewed as a witness. During the questioning, So-yeon was surprised to learn that the woman didn't die but became a vegetable. She was so nervous after hearing that, if the woman wakes up, she identified Ho-jun as the murderer. In order to speed up her sister's conviction, she went to the police station the next day and claimed that she saw Ri-jing entering the room with the victim. At the same time, the cell phone found by the police at the scene was identified as Ri-young's. The police immediately came to the house and brought Ri-jing back to the police station as a suspect. However, when questioned by the police, Ri-jing kept her mouth shut because she remembered that Ho-jun told her that he would turn himself in. She wanted to wait for Ho-jun to turn himself in, but what she never expected was that Ho-jun came, but he put all the blame on her. He accused her of being the murderer. Ri-jing was shocked beyond belief. She desperately wanted Ho-jun to tell the truth, but Ho-jun didn't care and just got up and left. At this moment, Ri-jing's heart was filled with a deep sense of powerlessness, but he didn't know how to defend himself because now all the evidence points to her. So-yeon and Ho-jun thought it would be over, but what they didn't expect was that the injured girl was the granddaughter of the chairman of the Zaibatsu, who had been lost for more than 20 years. The chairman has been asking his assistant, Sunjae, to keep looking for her. It was only yesterday that Sunjae found out the girl's identity. Today, she's lying unconscious in a hospital bed. Sunjae looked at the girl lying on the hospital bed and was very upset. He didn't know how to explain to the chairman. At the same time, he wondered who could have done this to the girl, so he went to the police station as a lawyer to see the suspect. But the moment he saw Rio, he realized that she was the one who helped him. Sunjae couldn't believe that the kind-hearted Ri-jing would do such a thing. He asked the police to give him and Ri-jing a chance to talk to him. He asked the police to arrange a private meeting between him and Ri-jing. Ri-jing quickly recognized Sunjae. She took Sunjae as her last hope. Then she told him that she was framed. The real murderer, Ho-jun, and So-yeon is the accomplice. She wanted Sunjae to help her. Sunjae was shocked when he heard the name Ho-jun because Ho-jun is his half-brother, but he was the only one who knew about it. Ho-jun didn't know about it and treated him as a good friend. Sunjae didn't know whether to believe Ri-jing or not, but in the end, he decided to dig deeper into the matter. He didn't realize that he would find out the truth once he investigated. The surveillance video only captured Ri-young and the girl entering the room. It didn't show them coming out. Then Sunjae went to find Ho-jun and So-yeon. He purposely brought up Ri-young's claim that Ho-jun was the murderer. Then he left to take a phone call. Then he immediately came back to eavesdrop on their conversation. He overheard So-yeon threatening Ho-jun to marry her with a CD of the surveillance video. Sunjae realized that what Ri-jing said was true. Then he made an excuse to take them out. He sent someone to take So-yeon's bag with the disc. Unfortunately, the CD was empty. It was just a way for So-yeon to scare Ho-jun. The next day, Sunjae thought he could check Ho-chun's car recorder, so he used a trick to get the video. He heard the conversation between Ri-jing and Ho-jun. This proved Ri-young's innocence. Then he burned the recordings into CD and sent them to Ho-jun and Ri-jing, who was temporarily released on bail by his father. He told Ho-jun that he wanted him to turn himself in before Ri-jing went to the police to expose him. Ho-jun panicked and didn't know what to do. So-yeon reassures him that he won't have to worry about him. Then she followed Ri-jing in her car and tried to steal the CD. She followed Ri-jing to a cliff. Then she tried to grab the CD from her sister. During the argument, the CD fell on the cliff. Ri-jing fell down in order to pick up the CD, but So-yeon didn't feel guilty at all. She calmly went home and forged a suicide note. She made it look like Ri-jing committed suicide. After the job was done, she couldn't wait to plan her wedding to Ho-jun, but she didn't realize that Ri-jing, who she thought would die for sure, showed up at the wedding. It turns out that Ri-jing fell off the cliff but was saved by Sun-jae in time. She was only in a coma for a few days before she woke up. As soon as Ri-young woke up, she was told that So-yeon was getting married to Ho-jun, so she decided not to back down. She vowed to make So-yeon and Ho-jun pay. She first thought of her adoptive father, who was a policeman. She immediately took the CD that proved Ho-chun's murder and gave it to him to clear her name, but she saw him throwing away everything that belonged to her. Her foster father was afraid that his future in-laws would know that Ri-jing was his eldest daughter and that it would affect So-yeon's ability to marry into a wealthy family. He even threatened that Ri-jing must die for So-yeon. Ri-jing looked at her loving father in disbelief and was heartbroken. Then she picked up the things her father threw away and brought them back to the hospital room. She reassured herself that her father must have thought she was already dead. Undeterred, she decided to go to him again, so she went to the wedding venue on the day of her younger sister's wedding. She secretly slipped him a note from her telling him she was still alive, and arranged to meet him on the rooftop. But what she didn't expect was that her foster father wanted to kill her with a gun. Then he shouted that he saw Ri-jing fall off the cliff and that she couldn't be alive. Ri-jing, who was hiding in the dark, covered her mouth in shock when she heard her foster father's words. She realized that her foster father was there, but didn't save her. Instead, he chose to harbor the younger sister. She left the rooftop in a daze. At that moment, she realized that she had been completely abandoned. She hid in the corner of the wedding venue and watched everyone's face beaming with happiness. No one was sad that she had disappeared. It was as if she had never existed. She was in despair. Her heart was filled with hate, so she immediately went back to the hospital and found Sun-jae. She asked her to take the place of the daughter of a plutocrat who had become a vegetable. Sun-jae didn't even think twice about it. Because the chairman of the Zaibatsu is sick, he wanted to wait until he found his granddaughter, but he's in poor health and can't afford to wait. So the two of them hit it off. Ri-jing will pretend to be the daughter of the Zaibatsu to persuade the chairman to have the operation, and he helped Ri-jing to take revenge. Ri-jing wanted to pose as a plutocrat's daughter. She poured a pot of boiling water on her back. The pain from the burns made her cry out, but she gritted her teeth and kept going, because she had to have a scar just like the real plutocrat's daughter. And this pain was nothing compared to what her adoptive parents had done to her. She returned to the hospital room and lay down in a sweat. She dreamt again of the scene where her younger sister pushed her off the cliff. The despair was still fresh in her mind. The next day, Ri-young followed Sun-jae to the chairman's house to meet him. Because of Sun-jae's help and the scars of her burns, he thought that Ri-jing was his granddaughter. Ri-young also persuaded the sick chairman to have an operation, as she promised Sun-jae that the chairman's condition is very serious and he has to go abroad for treatment. Ri-young, as her granddaughter, had to accompany him, but her revenge plan will be delayed. But Ri-young is not worried about that. She can use this time to enrich herself so that she can take revenge with confidence. But before she leaves here, she has to make her identity disappear completely, because Ho-jun saw her back when she secretly went to her younger sister's wedding. Ho-jun is convinced that she's still alive, and he's looking for her everywhere. In order to make everyone believe that she's really dead, Ri-jing asked Sun-jae to find an unrecognizable female body and put it on the cliff where she fell. Soon the foster parents and Ho-jun got a call from the police asking them to claim the body. They rushed there and saw the disfigured body, but they didn't think it was enough to prove that the victim was Ri-young. But Ri-young had already thought of that. She put her clothes and cell phone on the body. This dispelled the suspicion of everyone. Finally, Ri-jing went to her own funeral and said goodbye to her old identity. Then she went abroad. 5 years passed quickly. Ri-jing came back as Jeng-ho, the chairman's granddaughter. She appeared at Ho-chun's shareholders meeting to run for the presidency. The moment she took off her glasses, Ho-jun, his mom, and So-yeon all looked horrified. In the end, as the largest shareholder of the company, she rejected Ho-chun's bid for the presidency. At that moment, Ho-chun's mom felt dizzy. She rushed back to the office and asked her daughter-in-law, Jeng-ho, if she was her dead sister. So-yeon nervously said that Jeng-ho couldn't be her dead sister. After all, she had identified her sister's body with her own eyes. But just in case, she wanted to check with Jeng-ho. But Jeng-ho had already left in a car. Meanwhile, Ho-jun found Sun-jae, who appeared with Jeng-ho, and asked him what happened. Sun-jae pretended not to know and said that she was really the chairman's granddaughter, but she's been living abroad, so no one knows she exists. He also emphasized that Jeng-ho has a 7-year-old daughter. Hearing this, Ho-jun was relieved. He hurriedly told his wife the news, but So-yeon still didn't believe him. So-yeon went to investigate Jeng-ho herself, but she didn't wait for the result of the investigation. Jeng-ho came to work at So-yeon's department under the pretext that she wanted to fulfill her dream of designing. Then she went to Ho-chun's office to shake his hand. Then she went back to the office and shared her design with her coworkers. She got a lot of praise from her coworkers. Then when So-yeon came in, she deliberately pointed out in front of everyone that So-yeon's design was plagiarized. Of course, So-yeon wouldn't admit it. She said Jung-ho was wrong. Then she fled back to the office in a panic. She was so angry at Jung-ho's designs that she tore them all up. At that moment, the results of So-yeon's investigation came out. There was no problem with Jung-ho's identity, but So-yeon still felt something was wrong in her heart and thought that there couldn't be someone who looked so much alike. But how to prove it made her a bit confused. Then she suddenly saw the colored pencils on the table. She recalled her sister's childhood when she was colorblind due to an eye infection, so she immediately asked her subordinate to find Jung-ho's design. Just as she thought, the designs were all in a single color, so she called a meeting with full confidence and brought out a design for Jung-ho to draw colors on it. Just when she thought she'd be able to reveal Jung-ho's true colors, Jung-ho calmly picked up a paintbrush and painted gorgeous colors on the paper. So-yeon's smile came to an abrupt end. She had to believe that Jung-ho was not her dead sister. Unbeknownst to her, Jung-ho was colorblind, but as if she had expected it, she went to the doctor in advance to get a pair of contact lenses to correct her color blindness. That day, the foster mom suddenly saw Ri-young on TV. She was shocked and thought she was mistaken. After receiving confirmation from her son, she immediately went to So-yeon's company because the TV program where Ri-jing appeared was the press conference of So-yeon's new underwear product. They arrived at the company and ran into Ri-jing after work. The foster mom angrily asked her why she came back to life. Ri-jing pretended not to recognize them and called the security guards to kick them out. At that moment, So-yeon came out from work and saw the scene. She quickly explained to her mother that she had already confirmed that the other person was not Ri-jing. It's Jung-ho, the granddaughter of the company's major shareholder. After hearing this, her mother was relieved. At that moment, So-yeon's brother was thinking. He suddenly got up and ran out to look for a crystal ball with a blue base. Finally, he found it in a kiosk. Something Ri-jing told him came to his mind. At that time, Ri-jing asked him to take care of this crystal ball. His intuition told him that Jung-ho was Ri-jing. So the next day, he took the crystal ball and went to Ri-jing to recognize her, but Ri-jing broke it. Her brother's sad face made Ri-jing feel guilty. After all, her brother is the only one in the family who is good to her. But for the sake of revenge, she can't recognize her brother now, so she has to speed up her revenge plan. And Ho-jun and So-yeon are the first ones she wants to take revenge on. So on Ho-jun and So-yeon's wedding anniversary, she and Sunjae purposely dragged Ho-jun to drink together. So-yeon was left alone at home. Then she asked Ho-jun to have dinner with her alone, but she secretly asked So-yeon to join her. So-yeon was furious when she saw them having a good time. Ri-jing showed a smile of success. Ho-jun wants to revive their relationship after seeing Ri-jing. He couldn't help but hug Jung-ho in his arms and confessed his love. But So-yeon saw the scene when he passed by. So-yeon was furious, but she didn't have the courage to confront him. Instead, she ran to an isolated place and cried, because she felt that Jung-ho was better than her in every way. In the evening, Ho-jun came home and was very considerate of So-yeon. Perhaps out of guilt, he even offered to accompany her to her mother's house for a few days. So-yeon was flattered that her husband's heart was still with her. So the next day, they happily went back to her mom's house. But before long, Ho-jun received a call from Jung-ho asking him to meet her. Ho-jun was very happy. Then he excused himself as a friend who had something to do with him and couldn't wait to go to the appointment. When he arrived, he didn't realize that Jung-ho asked him to meet him to reject his confession, and she made it clear that she wasn't his ex-girlfriend. But Ho-jun still refused to give up and hoped that Jung-ho would give him a chance. He even threatened to wait for her forever. At that moment, he didn't realize that So-yeon, who was following him secretly, had heard their entire conversation. So-yeon realized that Ho-jun had never forgotten Ri-jing. At this moment, her deep love for Ho-jun turned into hatred. When she got home, she tore up her wedding photo with Ho-jun in anger. Thinking back to the past made her want to take over the company and put Ho-jun in jail. So the next day, So-yeon paid off the secretary of the chairman's mother-in-law. Then she asked the secretary to invite the shareholders to a restaurant in her mother-in-law's name. She generously gave them her shares as a daughter-in-law. She asked them to elect her as the president of the company at the critical moment. But what she told her secretary to tell her mother-in-law was that she did all this so that Ho-jun could become the president. Not only that, she also found the CD with the evidence of Ho-chun's murder and escape 5 years ago. Everything is ready. It's time for the shareholders meeting to elect the president. Just when Ho-jun was about to become the president, in the meeting room, the recording of his ex-girlfriend persuading him to turn himself in after the murder and escape was suddenly played. The shareholders in the room were shocked. So-yeon also pretended to be surprised. Soon after, Ho-jun was taken away by the police on the charge of manslaughter. So-yeon's mother-in-law almost fainted when she couldn't accept her son's arrest. While she was trying to save her son, the shareholders came to her door claiming that Ho-chun's arrest caused the company's stock price to plummet. They demanded an explanation. They demanded that she give up her presidency and let So-yeon take over. The chairman was forced to agree. So-yeon became the president of the company. She's going to start dealing with Ri-jing. That day, the chairman went to the hospital for a checkup. When he was leaving, he saw a nurse taking care of a patient. To his surprise, The patient had a scar on her back just like his granddaughter's, and there was a picture of his granddaughter on the wall of the hospital room. But the chairman was in a hurry to go overseas and had to leave first. On the way to the airport, the chairman recalled when he and Zheng Ho first returned to Japan. Zheng Ho said he wanted to visit a friend in the hospital, but how could his granddaughter, who told him she was living abroad, have a Korean friend? The chairman felt something was wrong, so he asked his subordinates to investigate the female patient with the burns on her back, and he started to hide his whereabouts from Zheng Ho. He didn't even tell Zheng Ho that he came back from abroad. At the same time, he hid the fact that Sunjae was the one who found his granddaughter for him. Soon after, the subordinate told the chairman with the information from the investigation. The female patient had an accident 5 years ago and has been in a coma. Strangely enough, the person who had been taking care of her was Sunjae. The chairman was shocked. His granddaughter was also found by Sunjae 5 years ago. After he instructed his subordinates to continue the investigation, he suspected that the current granddaughter could be an imposter. But then he dismissed the idea and thought he was overthinking it. After all, he had personally identified the scar on his granddaughter's back. The next day, the chairman suddenly received news that the female patient had awakened, so he rushed to the hospital to find out who she was. But even though the girl was awake, she hadn't fully recovered and couldn't speak. The chairman could only leave in disappointment. Just as he turned his back, a tear was left in the corner of the girl's eye. After that, the chairman came to the hospital from time to time to see the girl. Sunjae's friend, the director, got nervous when he saw him because he knew the whole truth. When confronted by the chairman of the Zaibatsu, he made up an excuse to get away with it. Then he hurriedly told Sunjae to prepare for the incident. As soon as Sunjae returned, he was called in by the chairman to talk. The chairman directly asked Sunjae if the female patient was his granddaughter. Sunjae quickly denied and swore that the female patient was definitely not his granddaughter. She just happened to have similar scars. He knew the chairman wouldn't believe him so easily. So the next day, he arranged for a pair of fake parents to be in the girl's hospital room. But what he didn't expect was that just when he thought he had done everything right, his friend called Dan told him to rush to the hospital. He looked at the empty ward and realized that the female patient had been transferred by the chairman. He panicked. Apparently, the chairman knew the truth. Ri-jing didn't realize that the chairman would find out the truth just when her revenge plan was in full swing. The chairman fainted because he couldn't take the shock. Ri-jing and Sunjae rushed him to the hospital. At that moment, Ri-jing was feeling very sorry for herself. She felt that if it wasn't for her desire for revenge, this wouldn't have happened. Sunjae looked at Ri-jing with pain, but didn't know how to comfort her. Luckily, the chairman was able to save his body. He soon woke up from his coma. Ri-jing rushed to the hospital to ask for his forgiveness, but before she could say anything, he pushed her to the ground. Sunjae fell on her knees in front of the chairman and blamed herself for everything. He asked him not to blame Ri-jing, but the chairman didn't listen and asked his subordinates to kick him out. They were at a loss. When they got home, they discussed what to do next because Ri-jing needs the chairman's help to get revenge, so she has to get the chairman's forgiveness. At that moment, Ri-jing suddenly thought of someone who could help her. That's the real Chaebol's daughter, who has now regained her consciousness. So the two of them went to find her the next day, hoping to get her forgiveness. But what they didn't realize was that the plutocrat was also conscious during her coma. She had clearly heard Sunjae's words that he didn't want her to wake up. That's why she hates Ri-jing even more for stealing everything that should have been hers. At that time, the chairman heard the noise and came out to find them again. He immediately threw them out. He made it clear that he won't give Ri-jing any more help. Sunjae didn't want to give up. Sunjae didn't want to give up, so he brought in Hojun, the murderer who injured the daughter of a plutocrat, and Ri-jing. He told the chairman about how Ri-jing was framed by Hojun and So-yan. The chairman was willing to give them a chance. They kneeled in front of the chairman and begged him to help them one last time. It was then that the chairman realized that the reason why Ri-jing was pretending to be his granddaughter was to persuade him to have the operation. This made the chairman soften his heart. But after they left, the real daughter of the tycoon said she would never forgive them. So the chairman listened to his granddaughter and kicked them out of the house. On the other hand, So-yan, who was about to take revenge on Zheng Ho, knew that she had a 7-year-old daughter, so she had her daughter kidnapped. The subordinate found the girl at the kindergarten as instructed. He lied that it was her mom who asked him to pick her up. Then he took the girl to the car and left. Hojun, who had just been released on bail, saw this, so he chased after her in his car. But he was discovered by his subordinates. As soon as he got out of the car, he was knocked unconscious. He was gagged and tied up in the attic of the house. Soon after, Ri-jing and the chairman received news of the girl's disappearance. The chairman couldn't care less about Ri-jing's impersonation of his granddaughter. He panicked and took his assistant to look for his great-granddaughter. The real daughter of a rich family blamed Ri-jing for everything. Ri-jing didn't defend himself and kept apologizing to the rich girl. At that moment, Ri-young received a call from the kidnapper. Ri-jing received a call from the kidnappers asking her to bring 1 billion won to save her daughter. It turns out that the kidnapper hired by So-yen changed his mind and wanted to extort money from her. Ri-young immediately and to rescue her daughter. The daughter of a tycoon went with her because she didn't want to worry. After finding the girl, both of them were anxious to check her condition, and they both called themselves moms. When So-yen's subordinate saw this scene, he remembered that So-yen had told him that her sister had died 5 years ago. Combined with the current situation, he seems to have guessed something. At this moment, Ri-jing looked at the unresponsive girl lying on the sofa and thought that the kidnappers had hurt her. He rushed forward to fight with him, but he was pushed to the ground. Then the kidnapper took out a tape recorder to force Ri-jing to reveal her true identity. But Ri-young still insisted that she was Jeng-ho. The kidnappers threatened the girl's life. Ri-young had no choice but to admit her identity, but she didn't realize that Ho-jun, who was tied up upstairs, heard it. Then the kidnapper took the tape recorder and left. After he left, he didn't give the tape recorder to So-yen because he thought the recording would give him a bigger profit. Ri-jing's act of rescuing the girl touched a plutocrat's daughter, so she and her grandfather decided to forgive Ri-jing. They agreed to use Ri-jing's identity until her revenge is complete, and they will do their best to help her take revenge. On the other hand, So-yen was kicked out by her mother-in-law and husband. So-yen was kicked out by her mother-in-law and husband. She had nowhere to go but to her mother's house. Her mother was worried and asked her what happened. But before she could speak, she fainted because she couldn't bear the shock. The family rushed her to the hospital. So-yen soon woke up. In order to save her marriage, she went to her mother-in-law and husband. Despite the fact that she had not yet recovered, she fell to her knees and begged them to let her go home. But her mother-in-law said she wouldn't forgive her for what she did. It turns out that not only was her mother-in-law upset that So-yen couldn't have a child for the family, but So-yen sent her husband to jail to become the president of the company. Although Ho-jun was released on bail due to lack of evidence, but he also lost his chance to become the president. So-yen thought she had it all worked out, but what she didn't realize was that Ri-young was keenly aware that So-yen had something to do with it. So Ri-jing asked his subordinates to investigate the matter. She found the courier who delivered the evidence of Ho-chun's crime to the police. She took out So-yen's photo and asked the courier if this woman sent the delivery. But the courier suddenly pointed to the secretary standing behind So-yen in the photo and said that he was the one who asked him to deliver the package. Ri-jing immediately asked his subordinates to bring So-yen's secretary here. He asked him who the mastermind was. Eventually, So-yen's secretary couldn't stand the pressure and told him everything. After hearing this, Ri-jing brought his secretary to So-yen's house. He exposed So-yen's true colors in front of everyone. In the end, So-yen was kicked out by her mother-in-law. After that, Ri-jing replaced So-yen as the acting president of the company. On the other hand, So-yen begged her mother-in-law and husband for forgiveness, but their attitude was still very firm. When she was at her wit's end, when she was eating, she suddenly vomited. This immediately gave So-yen hope, so she excitedly took a pregnancy test, but the result showed that she wasn't pregnant. At that moment, she saw a pregnancy test in the trash can, so she took the pregnancy test to her mother-in-law, and when she told her mother-in-law that she was pregnant, her mother-in-law's attitude changed and let her back into the family. But her husband still insisted on divorcing her because she knew that Jeng-ho was Ri-jing. He wanted to get Ri-jing back. He told his mother that he had someone else in his heart. So-yen was devastated. She vowed to make Ri-jing's life miserable, so she found her subordinate to discuss how to deal with Jeng-ho. At that moment, the subordinate brought out a tape recorder. This is the recording of how he recognized Ri-jing's identity when he kidnapped Jeng-ho's daughter a few days ago. So-yen was shocked. She finally realized that Ri-jing was taking revenge on her. So the next day, she went to her subordinate and asked him to gather the families of the victims killed by Ji-tae. Soon the victims' families blocked Ri-jing's doorstep again. When Ri-jing saw it, he realized that it was So-yen's plan again, so Ri-jing started to fight back. Ri-jing sent So-yen's medical report to Ho-jun that she found out that So-yen was not pregnant. Ho-jun opened it and was furious. He slammed the report in So-yen's face. He scolded her for lying to himself and his mother with a fake pregnancy. So-yen panicked and begged Ho-jun not to tell her mother-in-law, but Ho-jun went straight home to tell his mother about So-yen's fake pregnancy. Before he could say anything, he received a video on his cell phone. It's the surveillance video that proves he hurt someone and ran away. He couldn't care less about exposing his wife's lies, so he panicked and went back to his room. But the person who sent the video was So-yen. Ho-jun decided to help her hide her fake pregnancy. Then So-yen went to Ri-jing to brag about it. But what she didn't realize is that her mother-in-law heard their conversation outside the door, and she found out about her fake pregnancy. Her mother-in-law fainted because she couldn't take the shock. On the other hand, Ri-jing's father, Ji-tae, was released from prison on parole. He advised Ri-jing to give up her revenge because So-yen is really her younger sister. Ri-jing was in disbelief. Ji-tae had no choice but to tell the truth about what happened 30 years ago. It turns out that Ji-tae went astray to survive and was hunted by the police, and In-chul was the one who arrested him. During the arrest, In-chul accidentally killed Ri-jing's mother while his colleague was fighting with Ji-tae. He accidentally killed a colleague and that colleague was Hye-soon's ex-husband. Then In-chul tried to cover up his crime by blaming Ji-tae. At the same time, Ri-young's mother gave birth to twin girls, but she died of her injuries. Ji-tae asked a friend to find out where the twins were, but when she arrived at the hospital, she found out that Ri-jing had been adopted by In-chul, and the younger sister So-yeon was stolen by a woman who had given birth to a dead baby and became insane. And that woman is Hye-soon. So the person Ri-young is trying to avenge is her twin younger sister. Ri-jing can't accept the fact that So-yeon is her twin younger sister. Ji-tae was heartbroken when he saw Ri-jing's devastated face, but as a father, he couldn't watch them fight each other. He hoped that Ri-jing could let go of her hatred. Ri-jing returned home in a state of shock. Although she said she would never let So-yeon go, she was still shaken inside. But before she could decide whether or not to listen to her father, the next day, when she came to work, she saw the article that humiliated her as a murderer's daughter was posted on the internet by So-yeon. At this point, Ri-jing decided not to be afraid anymore. She felt that it didn't matter whether So-yeon was her younger sister or not. What mattered was that the two of them were not destined to coexist in this world. So Ri-jing immediately went to find her foster mom and told her the truth that So-yeon is also Ji-tae's daughter. On the other hand, Ji-tae found So-yeon and told her that she and Ri-jing are biological sisters. So-yeon didn't believe it. She thinks Ri-jing made Ji-tae do this to make her stop fighting against Ri-jing. So she didn't believe what Ji-tae said. When she got home, she told her mom about it as if it were a joke. Hye-soon couldn't believe it, because Ri-young said the same thing when he came to her during the day, but she didn't want to accept the truth, so she reassured herself that it must be a lie made up by Ri-young to get back at her. But now she heard So-yeon say the same thing. It makes her suspicious. Hye-soon wanted to prove that Ri-young and Ji-tae were lying. Hye-soon went to the head nurse who delivered her baby 30 years ago, but she didn't realize that the nurse's description was the same as Ji-tae's. Hye-soon returned home in disbelief. All the painful memories that she had deliberately forgotten came back to her. It turned out that her husband had died in the course of capturing criminals because she couldn't bear the pain. The baby was born prematurely. Unfortunately, she gave birth to a dead baby. The successive blows caused her mental condition to deteriorate. She went to the nursery while the nurse was out. She accidentally took the youngest of the Ji-tae twins as her own. She couldn't lie to herself anymore. The next day she went to Ri-jing and fell on her knees to apologize. She begged her to forgive her, but how could an apology make up for the years of humiliation and abuse by her adoptive mother? Hye-soon went out in a daze and ran into So-yeon. She looked at So-yeon with tears in her eyes and left without saying a word. Then she went to her ex-husband's grave and mumbled to herself that she didn't know how to face So-yeon in the future. At this moment, Ri-jing, who had been following her, didn't want to let her go, so she went up to her adoptive mom and told her that it wasn't Ji-tae who killed her ex-husband, but her current husband. In-chul. Hye-soon was incredulous and denounced Ri-young's nonsense, but in her heart, she believes that Ri-jing is telling the truth. And In-chul, who didn't know anything about this, went to buy a diamond ring, because today is their wedding anniversary. When he came home, he was confronted by his wife. In-chul tried to deny it, but he was too scared and said it was an accident. Hye-soon fainted from the shock. In-chul rushed her to the hospital. Hye-soon soon woke up, but she's a little disoriented due to the constant stimulation. She didn't recognize anyone. In-chul was heartbroken to see his wife like this. He angrily walked out of the hospital thinking it was all Ji-tae's fault. Since Ji-tae was released on parole, things went out of his control, so he called the mob to kill Ji-tae for fear of being exposed. Just when Ji-tae was about to be killed, Sunjae arrived in time to stop the assassin so he could escape. But Sunjae, who was outnumbered, fell into their hands. Ji-tae's subordinate told Ri-jing about it. Ri-jing immediately figured out that it was In-chul. She immediately went to find In-chul. She told him that if he didn't release Sunjae, she said that if he didn't release Sunjae, she would save her life and expose all his dirty deeds. In-chul panicked and asked the gangsters to release him. He went back to the police station and was thinking about how to catch Ji-tae again. Ji-tae called and asked him not to make things difficult for Ri-jing on the condition that she disappears. In-chul agreed quickly, but then he told the gangsters about Ji-tae's location. He told him to get rid of Ji-tae. The gangster immediately rushed over and shot Ji-tae. At that moment, In-chul, who was waiting at the door, rushed in. He killed the gangster with one shot, just when In-chul thought no one could threaten him anymore. But he didn't realize that Ji-tae wasn't dead. On the other hand, Hye-soon woke up and became crazy. She didn't recognize anyone except Ri-young. That day, she suddenly told her son that she accidentally lost Ri-jing. Then she cried at the top of her lungs and said she was going to fetch Ri-young home. Then she ran away while her son was answering the phone. Her son called Ri-jing as soon as he saw her. Luckily, Ri-jing found her foster mom soon. When she saw Ri-jing, she hugged her and said she felt guilty. Ri-jing felt bad when she heard that. She took her mother back to her home. She called her brother to pick her up, but she didn't know that she wasn't crazy at all. She was trying to make up for all the years she owed Ri-young by pretending to be crazy. The next day, Hye-soon came home and cooked a big meal for Ri-jing. However, when his father saw Ri-jing, he was furious and told Ri-jing to get lost. When Hye-soon saw this, he rushed to protect Ri-jing. In-chul was heartbroken and thought that his wife had become like this because of Ri-jing. so he went to Ji-tae's hospital room to get back at Ri-jing. Then he took off his oxygen mask. He took a pillow and put it over Ji-tae's face. So-yeon saw this scene. On the other hand, Ho-chun's company is in a financial crisis because of Ri-jing's revenge. In order to save the company, he had to embezzle money from the public coffers. Unbeknownst to him, he fell into a trap set by Ri-jing. No sooner had he signed the papers than he was arrested by the police. So-yeon went to her father for help to save her husband. But what she didn't expect was that her father not only refused her request, he told her to put all the blame on her husband and mother-in-law and get a divorce, because he was afraid that her involvement would jeopardize his candidacy for director. So-yeon saw no way to help her father. She completely lost her dignity and went to Ri-jing. She prayed for her to stop, but Ri-jing didn't pay any attention to her. So-yeon returned home with a broken heart. Her mother-in-law didn't care about her at all. Instead, she blamed her and kicked her out of the house. So-yeon was heartbroken. Then she went to the prison to see her husband for the last time. She told him she wanted to go to a place where there was no hatred. When Ho-jun heard this, he realized that she wanted to commit suicide. So he called Ri-jing to stop So-yeon. But So-yeon was already on a rooftop. She stepped on a stool and stood on the edge of the rooftop with a hopeless look in her eyes. As the cell phone fell, So-yeon's figure disappeared from the rooftop. On the other hand, In-chul, who just killed Ji-tae, found Ri-jing with a gun. However, Ri-jing didn't get scared and asked his foster father to kill him. In-chul had a complicated look on his face, but in the end, he couldn't do it. He left in a state of despair. Her foster father's behavior made Ri-jing disappointed in him, so she and her aide planned to expose his crimes at a hearing before he became director of the department. And the foster mother, who had seen it all, couldn't bear the thought of father and daughter killing each other, so she stopped pretending to be crazy and went to her husband to persuade him to turn himself in. But In-chul, who had become obsessed with profit, wouldn't listen. Soon it was the day of his hearing for the post of director. At the meeting, Ri-young and his foster mom came. Ri-jing told the truth as a witness about what happened 30 years ago, but her adoptive father didn't panic and rejected her testimony because she didn't have any evidence. At that moment, the adoptive mother stood up and told everyone that Ri-jing's words were true. Then she appeared as a witness. She said she heard her husband confess to killing her ex-husband and Ji-tae's wife, but In-chul's testimony was also disallowed on the grounds that his wife was mentally ill. In-chul had the upper hand. Just when he was about to be elected director, another witness appeared. It was So-yeon, who was going to jump from the building herself. So-yeon said she witnessed her foster father kill Ji-tae. In-chul was in a state of panic and even hallucinated. It was as if all the people he killed appeared in front of him. He broke down and revealed all his crimes. This time, In-chul is finished. He will be punished by the law. The matter is finally settled, but Ri-jing couldn't be happy because So-yeon's kidney infection has returned and she may not live for another month. Ri-jing wants to donate a kidney to save her, but So-yeon didn't appreciate it at all. So-yeon was soon given a critical notice due to complications. Now the only one who is qualified to donate is Ri-jing. But despite this, So-yeon still refused to apologize to Ri-jing. The foster mom looked at So-yeon, who was seriously ill. Then she knelt down in front of Ri-jing and begged her to save So-yeon. Ri-jing's heart was now shaken. She went to the amusement park in front of her childhood home. Looking at the slide in front of her, she remembered the time she spent with her younger sister and the words of her father before he died. She didn't know whether to forgive or not. At night, Ri-jing came to So-yeon's hospital room again, but just as she was about to leave, So-yeon suddenly took her hand, and for the first time, he called Ri-jing his sister. He also said that he owed Ri-jing an apology. This made Ri-jing completely let go of her hatred. She finally decided to donate her kidney to So-yeon. Soon it was the day of the operation. Ri-jing and So-yeon were lying on the operating table at the same time. Their hands were clasped together like when they were children. The operation went smoothly. Ri-jing woke up first. At that moment, Sun-jae, who has been helping Ri-jing with his revenge, took out the ring he had prepared and proposed to Ri-jing. Ri-jing said yes with the cheers of the crowd. Then So-yeon also woke up. After they recovered, they went to visit their foster father, who was sentenced to life imprisonment. In-chul looked at his two daughters and regretted what he had done in the past. He told Ri-jing, although he was in no position to beg for their forgiveness, that he wants Ri-jing to know that he chose to adopt her, and the love he had for her and she was a child was all from the bottom of his heart. Then he got up and left. 2 years have passed in a flash. Now Ri-jing has become an excellent designer and is about to marry Sun-jae. So-yeon and her husband opened a small store in the market and started a new job. But Ri-jing and So-yeon, although they still fight all the time, Ri-jing and So-yeon are still fighting, but they've put aside their past hatred and started a new life. This is the end of the movie.